All right, introduce yourself.
My name is OG Cutes from the West Side Magnificent 7.
Kev Mac video. You know, this is for sure. Kev Mac video. Open your soul, represent your ghetto, baby. Kev Mac video. You know, this is for sure. Kev Mac video. Open your soul, represent your ghetto. Hold up. For the dime moves and the lokes, for the 6-4s on spokes, for the OGs that did a dime, came back around on parole.
For the homegirls with the scrap game.
Lil' homies that gang bang, from Pelican Bay to YA, rearrange your mind frame. Yeah, I know what you been through. Shit you had to go tend to. Your mama gave birth on the turf.
I was the founder. I created Conan Pocket in my mother's garage.
I had a lot of, lifting weights, and I was on swole. They started calling me Big Miz.
Original stutter box, East Side 5, who's Pablo Bishop, Mill City Gangster Blood.
Well, I'm like this. I don't try to push religion on anyone. But I tried to push gangbanging on people, joining a set. But with religion, it's like a personal thing to me. And it's a sacred thing. So my religion, it's mine, and I share it, with the higher power that I subscribe to, and I might say, oh, I believe in, Allah, or I believe in Jesus. And then whichever one you say you believe in, you're going to have the critics out there trying to dissect something and make little of what you believe in. And then that'll rub you the wrong way because someone is always, scrutinizing someone else's religion because they don't subscribe to the same one. So my religion, I'm at peace with my religion. I'm proud of my religion. I don't have to hit it up like it's a set. I don't got to shout it out like it's my set because it's within me. It's a part of me, and I love my religion. And it gives me stability. It helped me serve out 32 years and 4 months of incarceration without taking any psychotropic drugs. I didn't have to use any drugs to get through the misery of my incarceration. And my religion, it helped me get through that. And my religion helped me get through dangerous times too. It put a shield of protection over me. Because some of the forces that I was up against could have overthrew me, but because of my religion, it kept me vigilant, it kept me strong, and I endured. You always hear, the administration and the people who incarcerate talk about the recidivism rate, which means people who parole, a large percentage of them return back into the institution. Now, I know from hands-on, I've seen a lot of people that would return, and I would sit down and talk to them, and they didn't want to be back inside. They definitely were miserable because they had a taste of freedom, and that little bit of freedom that they had, it didn't last that long. And now they back with some real time. First they had what we call wino time. It means you go in for a few months, a year or two, and you right back out. But the lifer, he's there. He's processing years of incarceration. So he's also witnessing this thing they call a recidivism rate. And so I analyzed it. And I talked to some of the men who failed at their parole. And the number one thing that I found out is that it's easy for the human being to forget his misery upon release. It only takes a few drinks, a few puffs, hanging out with Susie for a few nights, then back on the block with the fellas. And before you know it, you never got your misery. You never got the steel toilet. The toilet only flushes, you only get 2 flushes and then it goes off for 15 minutes in the cell. And if that mechanism breaks that controls the flushes, now you're in that little, cubicle with another man and you got to smell that. You forget that. You're going to forget that when you get out and you're going to revert right back into your old behavior. I think a deterrent would be to remember your misery. Not dwell in it, but just hold on to a little bit of it so it could be a deterrent and it could keep you from being part of this high recidivism. Well, what other miseries that you experienced while you were incarcerated? This is how I'm talking to these brothers that come right back. I knew people who came back 5, 6, 7 times, and I said, how do you forget when the cops, don't want to go out and work, and then they call, shortage of staff, and then you got to be in the cell, 24 hours without going out to take a shower. Then you got to be in there taking a bird bath, which is showering at your sink with a bar of lye soap. How you going to forget that?
How do you feel about a person using drugs that also has a similar type of misery that they forget?
I think that the drug in this individual works against him. It's like a double-edged sword. He's like using the drug, it's ruining his health, and it's also blocking out the misery that he needs to embrace. He needs to embrace the past misery of his incarceration, the misery that he incurred when he created a victim. The individual needs to embrace that misery, and then that'll become a deterrent, a healthy deterrent. And then when he sees himself going back down that road, because the individual has the ability to think, man, and process. A human being, we got the ability to do that shit. But we could get into a primitive state of mind, and we could get icy cold, and we don't got to remember none of that shit. But once we get back in that county jail, I call it the Great Tomb, and then we hear those steel gates clacking shut, then it all comes back like we never left. And then the misery is upon us. And then we have this thing called transitional remorse. We're only feeling sorry for ourselves or for our victim because we got busted. It's not long lasting. I got a sense of remorse that's not transitional. It's concrete. It's steady. It stays with me. That's how I was able to get off parole. I could have got out and I could have got right back into the ill state of mind. I could have forgot the 32 years and 4 months. I could have wiped it out with a few puffs of some PCP, a little Johnny Walker Red, a few fights in the alley here, fucking fights at the, club or wherever else I wanted to go, down that dark path again. And I could have forgot all that shit. I could have got to rolling hard, and then boom, I'd have been wilding right back in my misery again, and I would have wondered, how did it end so fast? This little vacation that I took called freedom. See, I don't treat the free world like it's a vacation and like prison's indefinite. And this shit here called freedom is temporary. It's sad because a lot of my brothers and sisters, they don't understand the dynamic of incarceration, and no one's teaching them. They're not learning, and they go out and they become, the greater part of the recidivism, which is sad, and their families miss them. I miss them, and they're good people. No one needs to be incarcerated for the rest of their life. I don't care what they did.
So how you feel about the death penalty?
The death penalty is just as primitive as it was when the Romans crucified Jesus. It's a backwards ass mentality of a government, a structure that they think is going to be a deterrent on crime. Do you understand that the next criminal doesn't even weigh that, doesn't even have enough time to look at the news to see that someone is being executed or suffering? The death penalty is asinine. It's just a dumbass, structure of a system, and it doesn't do anything but cause more human suffering and misery.
All right, we got a couple people coming. Do you know Cat Ceasar from 76 East Coast?
I heard of him, but I haven't met him personally.
How about Pretty Boy from Rollin 60s?
I have a long history with Pretty Boy. I know him ever since when he moved over there in 73. Plus we did maybe 20 years together in the same facility.
What type of yards did you guys do time together on?
Level 4 and level 3. We stayed in those high levels because we were engaging in gang activity inside of the joint. And we're basically, young, living our life out, the way that we were conditioned to live it out.
One thing you said that stood out to a lot of the fans was when you said, you don't quit in a time of war. If you're going to go to the Lord or find religion, there's a time for that. Where are you at spiritually and what have you today? What other projects have you been working on since you've been home?
Well, while incarcerated, I started a program called CROP. And when I got out, CROP means convicts reaching out to people. So when I got out, I said, okay, I don't have the broad scale and all of the connections that I had when I was locked up, because they would bring busloads of kids into the prison for me and the crew that I assembled to talk to them. One of the guys that I had recruited was Pretty Boy, and another guy that I recruited was James Miller. And we had a pretty good, solid crew. And we would go out there and try to dissuade the youth from following our footsteps. At the same time, Tookie was still alive and he was writing his books, so he was giving us inspiration, and we were drawing from him too. It was like a good positive energy flowing through us, and we were reaching out to the kids. We weren't trying to create more gangbangers or enlarge our set and stuff. And when we were genuine, and the kids could tell. And some of the faculty could tell too, so that's why they entrusted their loved ones with us. And we would sit in the visiting room for maybe 4 or 5 hours with them. And it wasn't no scared straight program. It was, we'd tell them in a matter-of-fact way, what this behavior is going to get you, this lifestyle is going to get you. What's up, brother? How you doing, Brother Cat? This is Brother OG Cutes here, man.
You remember me?
You look familiar, Cat.
Used to have long hair. I should have brought some old pictures.
I got one I want to show you.
Yeah, used to wear long hair.
Yeah.
Ace Deuces back in the day. I used to kick it with Sidewinder and them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I went to Washington, but I was all the way from the east side.
Okay.
And they sent me to Washington. I remember you.
Yeah. Now that you're saying it, I'm remembering you now. You used to have the Lord Jesus.
I used to have the long hair. I used to wear braids.
And you would wear the dukes. I had my blue one on, and we had matches in them and stuff. Yeah, man. How you been, brother?
Oh, I've been good.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I was telling the forum that Washington was a school that was predominantly Crips.
Yeah.
It
was.
And so when I checked Jermel that day, I wanted to know what city he was from. I didn't hate the brother. It was just that I'm pushing up on him because I don't want other gangs to be coming in there putting people in danger. You know?
Yeah, because that's what Washington was.
Yeah,
Crip school. If you weren't no Crip, Crip or a non-affiliated, you wouldn't go in there.
Yeah, so it was my job. I felt it was my job, to go and actively seek out, new, people who registered, find out where they was from.
Look at Cat Ceasar.
Cat Ceasar from 76.
I'll be damned.
He went to Washington.
I know. I was trying. Last time I seen him, Tracy.
And Tracy.
Waiting for Beaver.
You were in Tracy in the 80s?
Yeah, I was in Tracy. Yeah.
Beaver came down to East and West Hall.
Yeah.
Somebody say Cat Ceasar Beaver down there, right?
Which Beaver? Like white
Beaver? Yeah.
He wanted to beat him
up.
up?
What happened was he thought Cat was going to get him.
Oh.
So Beaver said, fuck that, and left.
Well, Beaver thought Buster was going to get him because he locked up on the gauge.
Yeah.
I said, Buster, get over it.
Before
I went in, I sold him 238s.
Oh, okay.
2 weeks before I got, he was pimping some holes on Fig, right?
A Buster or
Beaver.
Oh, Beaver.
I had been knowing him since the 70s, right? Yeah. So he see me say, "Pretty, I need 2 gats." Yeah. So I sold him 238s, right? Yeah. But this was like an 83 and shit.
Yeah, I was with Beaver at Raymond Washington's funeral on Vermont.
Yeah, last picture I seen of him, he was squatting on the ground with a bald head, with a shit looking like a Mexican. I said, "He's Mexican." They said, "That's Beaver."
Yeah.
I said, "Man, that's a Mexican, man." They said, "No, that's Beaver."
See, Beaver and Beaver was on the same case.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I was crying.
We was on the same case, but I got the time. Beaver jumped on the deal.
Yeah.
I got the time, so I did the 31 on it.
Wow.
But
so you were locked up with us a long ass time.
I was in old folks with you, but we didn't run across each other.
Okay.
Then because it was on lockdown, all that other stuff.
When me and Beaver got to Tracy, you already left.
Yeah, I already left when y'all got
here. You already left.
Yeah.
I heard y'all was over there though.
Yeah, I got to Tracy and
sent me over to the new one.
Yeah. In 86, I got the trace. No, 85. I got the trace.
Yeah.
I got Tracy and we were there together.
Can you give me a little something about 7-8 East Coast Crips?
Well, 7-8 East Coast Crips came out in the early 80s, like around 81.